Ah, yes, the dog days of summer are here. For a lot of folks, that means sending the kids off to college. For a lot of you, it means you're going to be going off to college. Ask for a gift on your way out. Ask for security. Ask for style. Mom and dad, help your kid out going to college. They're going to lose their wallet probably because they're probably going to get a little tipsy one night. And by little, I mean a lot tipsy. And they're going to lose their wallet. When's the last time you guys lost your wallets? Never, right? But I lost my wallet all the time in college. I wish I had Ridge and their great wallets that now have AirTag compatibility. So get your Apple AirTag, slips right into your money clip on your Ridge wallet. You lose your wallet, quote unquote. You didn't really lose it. You're going to know where it's at because you can track it with the AirTag. Ridge gives you the goods. And they also give you the peace of mind of a lifetime warranty, free shipping, 99-day risk-free trial. Give it a try. Treat yourself. Also treat that young man or woman in your life that's going and seeking out higher education. Use the promo code WAKEUP over at ridge.com to save on your order. Again, the promo code WAKEUP over at ridge.com.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy. The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, Bama claps back at Castellanos at SEC Media Days. We get pretty deep and talk about the meaning of happiness when it comes to sports. And we sum up the MLB draft, take stock of the trajectory of Florida State baseball. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Energize for up to 7 hours. And also get packed with nutrients and vitamins, everybody. Vitamins and nutrients that will help your focus, will help your immune response, help your pump in the gym, help your hydration levels stay steady. My gosh, it's hot out there, everybody. So energize yourself, stay hydrated. Do it all in Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shake it and take it. You can also, if you want, you can put like a whole shot of this in your water that you drink all day at work, everybody. And you'll just get all the benefits gradually throughout the day because it's 260 milligrams of all natural caffeine, no sugar crash. VitaminEnergy.com. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports, or the Warchant Top 40. Still counting down, kind of, right? Like if you're a subscriber, you're well ahead of everybody else that's relying on the YouTube videos, which is fine. But you should probably subscribe to Warchant.com, everybody. Or at least hit the thumbs up because you get Corey Clark 3 times a week dropping knowledge on you. How are you, Corey Clark?
I'm wonderful, Aslan. Thank you so much for asking.
What was it like? Were you at the Home Run Derby the other night?
Yeah.
I'm sure you regaled the headlines audience, so I don't want you to, belabor it again, but you want to paint a picture for us?
Well, the seats weren't great, but it was really cool to see, honestly. So we left after the first round.
Because that's what Corey Clark does.
Well, and the thing goes forever. Plus, I was driving to Tallahassee because Brady was going to do the Link Jarrett camp on, he did do the Link Jarrett camp on Tuesday. So had to leave Monday night anyway to get down here for that. So we left the first round took an hour and a half. We got to see O'Neal Cruz hit 513. Got to see Cal Raleigh make it. I guess he won the tiebreaker by literally an inch over Rooker. So it was still fun. Got to see 100 home runs. So that was neat. And I got my fill of it. It was cool. It wasn't as cool as when I saw Sammy Sosa do it because the home run derby sucks compared to how it used to be. But it's still fine. You still get to see balls go really far. But it was fun. We were very, very high, though. We were barely in the stadium. As I said on headlines, and it's really not far from the truth. The fireworks that they would shoot off were going off beside us.
You feel the heat?
Not above us, but beside us.
Feel the heat, huh?
So that's how high we were. I didn't know Truist had seats that high, but now I do.
Okay. All right, well, I think in a week from now, we're definitely going to be in Charlotte. I don't know if the Noles going on Tuesday or Wednesday. I should know this. I will be in Charlotte. Corey will be.
Wednesday.
All right, so we're less than a week away. SEC Media Days wrapping up out there in Nashville. And on Wednesday...
I thought they were in Atlanta.
Is it Atlanta? I'm sorry. You're right.
I think it's Atlanta.
You're right. My bad. Fact-checked twice already, Aslan has been.
Yeah.
Alabama spoke on Wednesday at the podium. And obviously, listen, these players, especially the SEC, at least the way it used to be when I was covering teams living in Mississippi, and even in Dothan, right? like there are rooms upon top of rooms, Corey. For the ACC, there's like a main ballroom, and then there is this breakout room where basically every single person, coach included, and the players sit there for 30, 45 minutes and just take questions from anybody and everybody. And like they will not, if there's nobody at your table, you'll still kind of sit there twiddling your thumbs for 30 minutes. But then after that, you're pretty much done if you're an ACC kickoff. But my gosh, SEC kickoff, there's local TV, there's radio, there's writers, there's the main ballroom. Anyway, Alabama spoke on Wednesday, and they were going to be asked at some point, I'm sure, about their opener against Florida State and what the quarterback, Tommy Castellanos of the Noles, said about them. And this was, here are two of the quotes, Corey. Deontay Lawson, who's one of their standout linebackers, but he's coming off major injury. We'll see just how primed he's going to be. But his quote was, quote, "All disrespect will be handled accordingly," which I'm not going to lie, that's pretty G. I think it's pretty.
That's a good quote.
It's a really good quote. And then defensive lineman Tim Keenan III said something very similar, quote, "Disrespect will be addressed."
Okay. All right.
We don't need to sit here and relitigate, but I don't know. Part of me is like, all right, he's in their head a little bit. I kind of like it now. I would have been more scared if they would have been like, no comment, or just totally brushed it off. I've been like, uh-oh. But no, I don't know. I'm like, all right, so they're going to be, they might be champing at the bit to get their paws on Tommy Castellanos and forget their gap responsibility. And then boom, Jalen Lucas gone, 37-yard touchdown. Is this about par for the course, what you thought Alabama would respond? Would they even have responded had Nick Saban been there?
Well, I don't. Does he say that stuff if Nick Saban's still there?
Tommy, you mean? Because he would. Yeah. Nick Saban can't save you, or maybe he would have said.
Yeah,
Nick
he kind of alluded to Saban not being there. Look, man, it's all talk, and like they can say what they want. It's fine. There are plenty of Florida State players that said plenty at last year's ACC kickoff. None of that came true. It's just talk. Now, look, these guys are good. Alabama's good. But you know, Tommy Castellanos doesn't suck, man. Like, he's hard to tackle. He's hard to bring down. If he's healthy, yeah, he disrespected you. Go do something about it. Can you catch him? You going to be able to tackle him? Yeah, I don't know. Either way, they're going to be trying their darndest to tackle him. Again, whether he said any of that stuff or not. It's a cool quote. It's an awesome quote. It's like they knew how to address it. They had been told in the beforehand, like, you're probably going to be asked about this. This is what we'd like you to say. Or I just think that's pretty obvious. They've had, what has it been, 4 weeks, 5 weeks to come up with a retort.
Coordinated response, yeah.
But it is what it is, man. Yeah, and guess what? They're also going to talk on the field come August 30th. There's going to be a lot of talk. There's going to be a lot of barking. And, you know, Castellanos has to put up. You know, he walked it, or he talked it. He's got to walk it now. But I certainly think he's confident in himself enough to think that he will.
No, he certainly is confident.
See.
He's certainly confident enough in himself. You know, I think when the ball kicks off, my biggest concern about all this, and again, listen, I don't think the game changes because of this. You know, maybe Alabama will say something in the postgame if they do win. But my concern is just like, what if, second quarter, like 4 minutes left, Florida State only has like 45 yards of offense or something like that. Alabama's up by 2 scores. Like, I just wonder that Tommy's going to, not that he won't doubt himself, but just like, will he then start pressing, right? Because it's like, man, like I've got to do something. I got to be the X factor here. And then like you start kind of getting outside of yourself. But it also feels like there's probably going to be a lot of that allowed for him in this Gus offense. Just kind of like, yeah, man, we can only scheme up so much, Tommy. We have some limitations. You are the equalizer. Go figure everything out. So maybe that won't even be a problem.
And you hope they can run the ball so it's not going to be all on Castellanos' shoulders anyway, at least not his right shoulder. But I would say this, man, like, what are the odds that the 2025 Alabama defense is as good as the 2023 Florida State defense?
I don't know, 22%?
I would say they're low.
Yeah, lower. Maybe
that was a very, very good defense that Florida State had itself in 2023 with some real NFL talent on it. And Castellanos went for 400 yards. So just throwing that out there.
Everybody had the flu. Everybody had the flu, apparently, Corey. Everybody was sick.
With not as good a talent around him.
Yeah.
So I think he is not going to shy away. Like, the beauty is he's not a kid that's coming from Mercer, that this is his first big game against a good team. He is seeing really good defenses. Now, it's the ACC. They don't see him every week necessarily like they do in the SEC, but he's seen it. He's seen what he can do against NFL players. So he's right to be confident. And, again, I don't think there's much chance that the Alabama defense is as good as that one from Florida State put together 2 years ago. And yet he went for 400 yards and like 3 touchdowns and almost won the game literally single-handedly. So he's got some positive experiences to draw back on. And I would imagine the Florida State defense was talking to him a little bit too. He handled it okay. So we'll see. August 3rd, it's just another storyline. It's cool, but they did a good job in responding to it. Added a little spark to the fire.
Yeah, man, we are less than 50 days away from the opener, August 30th, in a renovated Doak Campbell Stadium, which I might, maybe I shouldn't say this out loud, Corey, but I think I might try to do some guerrilla journalism and just, I don't want to say break in to Doak Campbell Stadium because we don't advocate committing crimes on this show.
Why do you have to break in?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think
there's got to be gates open.
Yeah, I would think
just
so.
Walk in.
I want to go kind of, I'm not the guy that's going to sit here and defend people in high positions of power often, but I do feel like Florida State's kind of getting, we talked about it last show, is getting kind of a raw deal with the reaction to the architecture of the new stadium in terms of like they're creating all these seats that are going to be blocked by this wall. And I'm like, man, I'm telling you, I just don't think it's going to be a problem. So I just kind of want to go and film myself sitting in these seats and doing my best. Because here's the thing. You could walk by something like, this is the coolest thing ever, let me take a photo of it. But your perspective, your vantage point of your eyes, your real reality differs from what the camera captures. So people are like, oh, I've seen photos, or they're like, someone should just sit in the seat and take a photograph and settle this once and for all. It's like, well, if you're 5'9" versus somebody who's 6'6", and you're holding your phone up at, anyways, like, there might not be a way to sell this, but I want to go to try to sell this once and for all.
We'll do it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Nonetheless, pivoting. So, Corey, every day you put this headset on, you probably brace yourself for what the hell is this kid going to talk about today, and how much am I going to have to carry him on my shoulders once again? And
amen.
This is a deeper question, an esoteric question, which, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, well, maybe they'd rather us talk about baseball than this. But these Scottie Scheffler comments from the other day, I don't know if did you catch any of these, Scottie Scheffler?
I did, yeah. I thought it was very, very interesting.
I thought it was incredible, man. So I think he's the number one golfer. If not, he's considered the best golfer in the world. I mean, I don't know how the whole FedEx points, whatever, world golf ranking stuff works or whatever, but this guy's won the Masters. He's won, I think, 3 out of the 4 legs of the major tournament. So he's lived the dream, man. And some of these quotes, and I haven't heard the
he's awesome, by the way. It's not like he's like I'm not trying to take a shot at a Noel, but Koepka, the only thing he ever wins is he's won 5 majors and like nothing else, and we don't hear about him for years. Scheffler has been the best player in the world for at least 3 years, 2 or 3 years. Yeah. And if he's not the best, he's the second best. But he's been awesome. Like elite, like week to week. He doesn't save it for like 4 weekends a year. Like he does it every week. He is one of the best golfers that's ever lived. Anyway, go ahead.
And all that said, he's been wildly successful, obviously. And some of these quotes, the first one is, this is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of the deepest places of your heart. I then cut ahead later on where he says, it's something I wrestle with on a daily basis. It's like showing up at the Masters every year. It's like, why do I want to win this tournament so badly? Why do I want to win the Open so badly? I don't know. Because if I win, it's going to be awesome for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring this to Florida State, I promise. And this made me think, and this is the difference between fandom and actually being the athlete that's doing it. But I remember when Florida State won the national title in Pasadena in 2013, I was there, man. I lived that. I was sitting amongst Auburn fans in the first half when they were down 21-3 and was just in absolute misery. And then I switched seats and Kermit takes, listen, we all know how it ends, right? Like Florida State wins. And I remember thinking, Corey, I'm like, this is what I've always wanted. Like, I kept up with Florida State in the 90s, but not to the degree that I did once I became a student and subsequently thereafter. And then in 2013, listen, I would take weekends off from work. Like I wouldn't go cover. And Ole Miss was playing LSU, I think the night that Florida State played Clemson. It was a big deal. That's a rivalry game. And Ole Miss beat them in Oxford. I was not there. We didn't have any coverage because I'm like, I want to see if Florida State is for real, and if they can beat Clemson in Death Valley. So like I was in it, man. And I'm like, this is what I've always wanted as a fan. I just want to follow my team so closely from kickoff to the absolute last whistle of the season and then feel the joy of a championship. I've been a Lakers fan. I've seen them win NBA championships, but I've never had center court until a few years ago. So I haven't been able to watch every Laker game and track them, right? So here it is, man. Here's that moment I've been waiting for my whole life. And then it's just, okay, so like, and it was an awesome memory, but I felt it was going to have this almost transformative impact on my life, like Steve Young getting the monkey taken off of his back after he beat the Chargers in the Super Bowl by his teammate. Yeah. But I think college football players, maybe the team aspect, could not at all put themselves in the shoes of Scottie Scheffler, which is crazy because Scheffler is doing it all by himself. This is not a team award. There's somebody out there that has a 2013 Florida State National Championship ring that did nothing on the field at all. But they have that belonging to it, right? But like, dude, Scottie Scheffler's out there doing this every day by himself, and he's still not fulfilled. And he's the awesomest guy at the sport in the entire world, and he's still not happy. And it's crazy. It just makes me think about the fans and how much equity and love we put into something. I just hope everybody's able to take back all the deposits you guys are making in your emotion. I'll be able to withdraw the same amount in joy some point in the near future with this team.
Yeah, it's so different being the competitor versus the fan of it. You know what I mean? Like Scheffler, I think his point is like he even said it. He's like, yeah, I won the Masters. Or I think he was talking about the Masters. I won the Masters. I'd been working my whole life for it. Literally, probably millions of hours working. I don't know, maybe that's too much. Hundreds of thousands of hours, more than 10,000 hours. Working for that one goal to win the Masters. He wins the Masters. He's overcome with emotion. He celebrates with his family. He shows love to his family. He's riding high, and then he's like, okay, but what's for dinner? Like that was his point. It's like we're all together. We're like, okay, what do y'all want to do for dinner? And just life keeps going. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like you've reached a zenith, you reach the peak, and then you just stay on that peak forever. It's just, but you got to be a sicko to be one of these guys, man. I think he even called himself that. Like, I remember Jeff Peterson. He was the backup, kind of timely. He was the backup point guard in 12 to Luke Laux. He transferred from Iowa, and he was a point guard. He ended up being like the VP for the Hawks for a while. He's still in professional basketball in some capacity, but I don't know what he does. But he was talking about how I just was talking to him one day shooting the bull. And I'm like, how big is wrestling out there? Like the Iowa wrestling team, people that are sports fans know that like wrestling in Iowa is like a second religion. Right. It's insane how much they care about it. And he's like, he's like, man, it's just absolutely insane. He goes, they won the national championship. I might have told this story on here before. I can't remember. But he goes, our guys, I guess it's only guys wrestling at Iowa. I don't know. But they won the national championship. They won the team title. For the 16th they had won, or the 20th in program history. So it's a big deal. They won the national championship. He goes, the next day we're doing a practice. We're going through a practice. And they're carrying each other up and down the bleachers. The Iowa wrestling team is, for a workout, like fireman carries. But like a 135-pound wrestler is carrying the 120-pound wrestler. And they're carrying each other over their shoulders up and down the bleachers of the Iowa basketball arena. Because that's just the work. That's the life. So you want to talk about sickos, like it's just what you dedicate your life to, so there isn't a lot of joy, I don't think. Like I think Tiger Woods is really, really happy, or was really happy when he won majors, but then it's right back to the grind. When's the next one? When are you going to win the next one? 1's not enough, 12's not enough, 13's not enough. Like, so Scheffler's like that. Like, he's won 3 majors. He's won 16 events in his career. He's won 3 times this year on tour. He's won $88 million. Good I just looked all this up, by the way. This isn't stuff that's coming off the dome. And he's still not fulfilled because it's impossible to be fulfilled. You're never going to have a perfect career. You're never going to have a perfect season. Even if you go undefeated, you're not going to have a perfect season. That Florida State season wasn't perfect. There were plenty of mistakes made, including the first half of the Auburn game. So it's interesting, though, with fans, though, because I think you get to ride it a little longer. Because I was thinking about, what if this team had gotten past Corvallis, the baseball team? went to Omaha and won the World Series. Like, the elation you would feel for that, for Link Jarrett, for the program, for Mike Martin Jr., I hope he'd take I hope he would be gratified from that. That is his alma mater. His dad built that program. All these people that would take so much joy out of that and get so much joy out of that. Well, here we are, July 17th, 16th? It's gone. Like, then it's on to, like, how can they repeat?
Yeah.
What are they going to do to repeat again? Like, I don't think that Tony Vitello, by the way, that is his name, right, the Tennessee coach?
Tony Vitello, yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome on the MLB draft coverage. And we'll talk about the draft in a second, I think. He's great. He was the best thing about the MLB draft coverage. I've given him plenty of grief at times because of the way his team acts, but he was incredible on that setting, and I hope they do it every year. But I don't think he was I don't think he was he went into this offseason having solace that he won a national championship last year. Maybe I'm wrong. But I just think these people are wired differently. Like, the elite competitors are wired differently, and so, like, but fans do get to enjoy it longer, is what I would say. So if this team has a good season and they go 9-3, it's not like you get to enjoy it longer. You can enjoy it right up until next August if you beat Florida. But the players flush it and move on, man. That's what their lives are. The good ones, right? The good, like, Steph Curry isn't, like, not shooting jump shots for the next 3 months because he's already made $58,000 in his career, in his life. He's still working. That's what but he's never satisfied. So it isn't fulfilling. Not really, right? But then what is? What is a fulfilling? Who is really fulfilled in anything they do?
Don Draper once said, Corey, that happiness is the moment before you need more happiness.
Right. So, and my point was, we all have great things in our lives, and I'm fulfilled in the sense that I have a son that seems to be a decent, normal human being.
He is.
I have a wife that loves me, that I love, that we have a really good relationship, a really good job that I love. But still, it's not like I wake up every day being like, man, look at me. I nailed it.
Right.
I nailed it. I'm cruising into the sunset. That's just not how any of us are really wired. I loved hearing an elite athlete talk about it like that, though.
Yeah. And I know this sounds crazy, I'm not trying to conflate being somebody in the stands that doesn't have elite athletic ability to people that are out there. I thought it was interesting because I could have almost seen, like an offensive lineman say something like this, or even like Patrick Mahomes. Like, I'm just maybe not Mahomes, like Travis Kelce, but like, Scheffler, like, you take all this on your back. I technically have won an Emmy because the TV station I was with, the newscast, the entire thing front to start, won an Emmy, and I was on it because I was doing the sports coverage. So it was like the entire thing. So it's like, I'm, technically an Emmy winner. But like, it would have been cooler if I would have won one just for myself. Like, it'd been the Heisman almost. Like, it's like, I'm the guy that won the Emmy, right? Like, Scottie Scheffler, dude, you are the reason that you're awesome. Like, for all your success, your family, whatever, but like, you're the guy that's out there in the arena doing it. Like, all these other players share it, so maybe they would feel a little less invested in the overall success of their team, but it's this one guy on a range hitting balls all the time by himself.
I think just team sports are so different, man. Like, there's nobody that can take away the 2023 Chiefs Super Bowl. That's forever. Mm-hmm. And so even if Mahomes just turns into like Kirk Cousins and just tanks and isn't any good anymore, which would be surprising, and he would be very devastated by that, I'm sure, but nobody can take away what those teams accomplished. So it's like, I feel like in team sports you compartmentalize more. Like, that is its own thing. We accomplished that as a team. We will always have that as a team. That gives me satisfaction that I will always have that trophy with those guys and that banner forever. Scottie Scheffler is trying to be the best player in golf history. So he's chasing something else. And even if he somehow gets to 19 majors, which isn't going to happen, and breaks Nicklaus's record, or even gets to, I think, was Tiger at 15 or 16? I can't remember, somewhere in there. If he gets into that neighborhood, he's never going to be – it's not like when he goes to a golf tournament, they hang up the 2024 banner, the Masters banner over him. Like, he's just always trying to better himself, and he can't really – I don't know. I just think it's different with individuals trying to chase greatness as opposed to a team that reached it. Like, nobody takes away the 2024 Super Bowl for the Chiefs. Or 2023, sorry. The Eagles won it last year. Nobody can ever take that away. So even the next year when they stumbled, well, Mahomes still has 3 Super Bowls. And those teams always go down in history. You know, I think Scheffler's just, when you're an individual in an individual sport, I just think it's more of a mind screw than a team, a guy in a team sport. It just, like Djokovic won't retire. And he's awesome. I think he just went to the semis at Wimbledon. But he can't. He's not as good as Sinner or Alcaraz. Is that his name, Carlos Alcaraz?
Yes, correct.
But he's still fighting. Like, these guys are just sick, man. In a wonderful way, in a wonderfully competitive way, they are absolutely sick. Kobe, even though Kobe played in a team sport, basketball's a little different, but Kobe played in a team sport, he was a sicko.
Like Nick Saban, right? I feel like Nick Saban would talk about recruiting right after he won a national title, right?
Yeah, he would enjoy it for like a night. And I don't think that's a line. I think he legitimately enjoyed it for a night, and then he got back to work because he was going to be embarrassed if they were bad again. He just had a standard that isn't normal, that isn't healthy. Like, Nick Saban wasn't a healthy person. Urban Meyer wasn't a healthy person when he was coaching. Like, these people that have this almost demonic drive to be great, and when they get to the mountain, to stay there at all costs, it's not mentally healthy. It isn't. Like, professional sports, man, that's not a mentally healthy endeavor. But fans, we get to turn it off, man. We get to power down. The Braves aren't good this year. My life isn't appreciably worse or better when the Braves are good or awesome. Like, it was awesome when they won the 2021 World Series, and it's like that resets me for the next decade. Like, I'll have that for a decade where I'm like, yeah, I know they suck in 2025. It doesn't look like they'll maybe be good for a while, but we got the one in 2021. That just makes it, like, I'm sure Bucks fans are like that. Although the Bucks keep making the playoffs, but they got the Super Bowl in 2020. That'll sustain them for a while. Fans can be sustained by 1 or 2 great years. I don't know that athletes are like that, especially individual ones.
No one in the group chat agreed with me. My friend said he's a snob, Scheffler, but then they said, that night was awesome. I still think about it. My guy Mike said, maybe if you're a player, you might have had a different feel. My thing was just, that whole season, everything was easy. And I thought going into the national championship game, this was going to be just a coronation of the best team in college football history, and they were just going to run roughshod. Maybe not run roughshod, but I didn't think I was going to be fearing loss, catastrophic failure for 80% of that football game. So when it all happened, it was just such a whirlwind that I was so emotionally fatigued that I'm like, maybe I'm just too worn out to embrace the joy of all this. But my friend said, I don't know, man. Winston and Benjamin in the back of the end zone is still the greatest sports moment of my life. Not sure anything comes even close. Maybe Rondé Barber picking off McNabb to close down the disgusting stadium in Philly with those. He's got some choice words for the Philly fans forever.
Yeah.
I do leave you with this quote.
But that's the beauty of sports as a fan. But I just think they're completely different animals. To be in the arena as opposed, like on the field, as opposed to in the arena in the stands, it's a completely different ball game. Like it just is. You reach the mountaintop, you enjoy it, but man, I got to imagine like I don't know, man. Eddie Goldman was back in the gym 3 days later lifting weights. Like I didn't go to the gym at all that year. Didn't have to. But you know what I mean? Like it's back to the grind. Like you enjoy it, you love it, you will forever be celebrated, but then you're right back in the gym. And why? To go do it again. Now, college football is a little different because they're also trying to get drafted. They're trying to, and that's the one thing I'd say is like when you're talking about a team sport, especially college, it's like, yeah, I don't think every athlete grows up wanting to be on a great college football team. I think most football players dream of being in the NFL. So them reaching the mountaintop of winning a national championship is a great accomplishment, but still their overall goal is to see the commissioner call their name at the podium and then go win stuff there, I think. It's more of an individual chase in college sports. When you're college team sports I'm talking about. But even still, those guys, at least they should have been, Cam Irvings, the Eddie Goldmans, the Mario Edwards Jr.'s, I got to imagine they were all working out pretty hard 2 or 3 or 4 days later, trying to get ready. Mat drills are coming up, everyone. And you don't have to worry about going to the White House. So you got plenty of time to do your mat drills and all your off-season work because you're going to be the only college football team of the last 30 years that doesn't go to the White House, bizarrely. But, so I just think that's the difference of being an athlete. And we get to enjoy it. Like, I would say once a year I still watch the highlights from that game, the condensed version of that FSU-Auburn game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't know that Mario Edwards does. Or Jernigan, you know what I mean?
Right.
They lived it, and they were on to something else.
I'll leave you this before we talk about Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Quote, I've reached the top of the mountain, and there was nothing there.
Is that Scheffler?
That's Prince.
Oh, perfect. Even better.
Prince said that.
He was the Scottie Scheffler of pop music in the mid-'80s. One of the greats, one of the all-time greats, R.I.P. And a good basketball player, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
Not just from the Chappelle skit. Like, legitimately, he was a varsity point guard.
Yeah. From Minneapolis.
Can you imagine that? Is that the craziest thing to think about?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like Prince just like
crossing you
fools
up
over?
just breaking your ankle.
That's crazy.
Hard in the paint, zipping right by you, laying off the glass or two. One of the greats in sports bar history, still alive and kicking. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Daily lunch specials. They run from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. for only $8.99 with a side dish of your choice. All of it slaps, as your kids would say. Yep. Trivia night on Tuesday, bingo night on Thursdays. You can win $250. There's 4 chances at winning $250. There's 4 rounds, so you could technically probably win $1,000. I wonder if anyone's ever done that, Corp. If somebody's won every single round of bingo in one night and just walked out of the corner pocket with a easy grand.
No, I'm going to go ahead and say no. The odds of that are astronomical. Yeah. No way.
So that means you have a chance to go in there and upset the apple cart. So make some plans to grab a cold drink, eat some delicious, tasty food with your friends. You can do it at one place, and one place is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Decisions. Power or speed, quality or quantity. How about both? How about all? You don't have to sacrifice anything when you choose Brunt Workwear. You're not only going to get durable, well-crafted, resilient workwear, but also really stylish choices that allow you to go ahead and pivot right from the job site to your kids' activities, running errands, or meeting up for drinks after work. And since Brunt Workwear is geared for you, the real worker, they know you've got no time to waste. You need those work boots to deliver once you get them in the mail and you lace them up. So enjoy the peace of mind of work boots and gear that are ready to go right out of the box. Got that broken and comfortable feeling day one to give you the comfort and security you want. Use the promo code WAKEUP. I'm going to say it one more time. Wake up. It's all one word. Over at bruntworkwear.com to save $10 off your order. I'm going to say the website again, everybody. You ready? bruntworkwear.com. Use that promo code to save $10 off your order. We are back. It is Wake Up Warchant. It is presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it. You mentioned baseball earlier, Corey. I wish I had your tweet up in front of me, but I do not because my production skills quite oftentimes are lacking. But seems like Florida State's had a really good run of baseball players in their lineup and even in the arms and the bullpen of late. Kind of culminated earlier this week with the I guess Cal Raleigh winning the All-Star game. That doesn't mean what happened the last few years, though. But it's just the lineage of Florida State. Basically, what they did in the draft was pretty crazy. It was a program best. Yeah, this Link Jarrett guy seems like not only is able to evaluate and pull guys out of the portal quickly and make them even better, but he's also developing guys, and that's an incredibly encouraging thing when you trying to get to the mountaintop and hopefully see and feel something from there.
Yeah, so the tweet was basically the lineup, the College World Series lineup from 2024 was in order: 3rd round pick, 1st round pick, 1st round pick, 4th round pick, 4th round pick. Daniel Cantu, love you, dog. I don't know what happened, but he was undrafted. 2nd round pick, 4th round pick, and then Jackson West counts. He was an 18th round pick. But you're out of your top 8 hitters, 7 of them were drafted in the 4th round or higher. I mean, that's why it was an all-time great offense. Like Lodis batted 7th. Faroux, a 4th round pick, batted 8th. So yeah, that just shows you what that lineup was, and the fact that maybe a check swing call goes the other way, they had a real chance. And then yeah, it does show that they had 11 drafted, which is I think tied for the most of all time with 95's team. But as Ira rightly pointed out, back then there were 50 rounds in the draft. Well, now there's only 20.
Yep.
So it's a lot harder to get drafted. Certainly it's a lot harder to set draft records. So for them to have 11 in 20 rounds is really, really remarkable. The one bummer, of course, is that two of the guys drafted, Evan Crest and Cam Leiter, well, Cam Leiter gave you nothing at all this year, and Evan Crest gave you a couple starts. So it's cool that they got drafted. Maybe they end up making the major leagues someday, but it's not like that team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The team didn't have 11 draft picks because the biggest deficiency on the team this year, I thought, was the bullpen. You could have used a Cam Leiter or an Evan Crest in some roles late in the year, and you didn't have them. So I don't want people to think, golly, he had 11 draft picks and they couldn't even make the College World Series. It's like, well, slow your roll. They really had 9 because 2 of them didn't play or weren't available for the last 4 months of the season. But still, yes, this all matters. This all matters. You keep putting guys into the draft. It's a reason that people want to come play for you. The money is not going to be a lot. Like I think if this house settlement thing finally settles down and we see where the chips fall, we understand that baseball players are not going to be thrown a ton of money to go play college baseball. It's just not. It's not economically efficient. It makes no economic sense for a university to spend their revenue money on college baseball players. So a lot of it will come down to, do I have a chance to win, tradition, fan base, and then, can he get me drafted? Can I improve my stock by playing for Link Jarrett? And now there are, I don't know what it's been the last 16 kids over the last 2 years that can say, yeah, you can. That's a really good sign, man. That's a really good sign. And Cam Smith's already in the bigs. Cal Raleigh just won the flipping home run derby. By the way, and that was awesome. It's cool that he won the home run derby and he's leading the league in home runs. What did you think? Before we go, I want to talk about a topic real quick. But what did you think about the way the All-Star game ended?
Well, real quick before we get to that, sorry.
So you're going to sideway. You're going to bypass my bypass.
Is everybody gone that got drafted?
Not yet. No, I don't know.
It feels like Peyton Prescott. So from round 5 up or 6 up, I'm going to guess you're gone. Like Joey Vellini's probably gone. I mean, $397,000.
When was he drafted? The 4th round?
6th round, Vellini. 6th round, 168th pick. Pick value $397 according to MLB.
And I think when you're drafted that high, they've asked you if you'll sign.
Right.
And you've said yes.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes. Now, you got leverage. You got a little bit of leverage. You can ask for more money, and they might say, go screw off, and then you come back to Florida State. But typically, in the new modern era of the draft, when college players when you get selected in those rounds, you have already agreed that you will go play professional baseball. So, yes, I would say anybody, at least in the first 10 rounds, is probably gone, which probably used to be the case anyway. But now I think it's even more so.
Any update? Do you want to update your thoughts on Gage Harrelson staying or going?
Look, man, I think it might be the same thing. Like they asked them, would he sign? We'll take you if you'll sign. Because I guess my point is MLB teams don't like throwing away draft picks anymore. Like you could take a flyer in the 42nd round, who cares? Or the 34th round, who cares? Well, when you only get like 20 picks, you're only adding 20 players to your organization, other than the I guess there's not a Latin draft, but the Latin signing class. When you're only adding 20 players from like the draft to your organization, you need to be darn sure you're going to sign most of them, or all of them. So it leads me to believe that they drafted him knowing that he was probably going to be a pretty easy sign. That is my initial instinct, but I could be wrong. I don't live in this world. He's not going to get a ton of money. I don't know how much he could up his stock by coming back. He had a really good year. It's not like he's going to turn into a home run hitter. So maybe it does make sense for him to strike now and go see if he can get some footing in that organization. Or he might say, no, I think I can be a top 5 pick next year. Maybe. So I honestly think other than, I don't know, man, maybe Prescott and Crest. Maybe Crest. I don't know. Like I think they're probably all gone. I think that's the way of the world now. Most of these guys are going to sign. That's why they were drafted in the first place.
I'm trying to think if there's some sort of guarantee, because they don't have values listed by all the guys that got drafted like after round 15 from Florida State. So that
each team has a pool.
Right.
Like the Marlins are allowed to spend $19 million on their draft picks.
Exactly. Divvied up how they want.
Divvied up between 20 players. So the first round pick's going to get $4 million. Well, that leaves $15 million left for the next 18 draft picks. The second round pick will probably get $1 million, 1.3 again. So it goes like that. So it's a matter of how much they spend on those draft picks ahead of them. But it'll be in the ballpark, I would think, of 50, 100. I don't know, somewhere in that range. And you either want to start your professional career or you don't.
Why? Why would you want to be on a bus in, I don't want to name a city because there might be somebody in our listener group that lives there. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't imagine. And you're going to get developed really well. Like, it's Link Jarrett. This isn't a slap-together staff.
I would say this, Gage Harrelson, let's just use him as an example. This is his third year of college baseball. Like, he's ready to start his pro journey and see. Like, he's also not going to be closer to the major leagues by playing another year in the ACC. He's still going to start off on a bus next year. And he's still going to have to try to work his way up that organization. Now, odds are he probably won't make the major leagues because the vast, vast majority of them don't. But maybe he's just ready to go get that journey started and see. Not because of the money, because it's not like it's life-changing money. The life-changing money is if you reach the bigs. And so he wants to go ahead and see if he can do that and just get on with the pro part of his life. I can understand that. Just go see. And good luck to them. Good luck to all of them that end up going. I would say the Prescott and the Crestwin are unique because they're both coming off injury. I guess the thought is and the point is, like, I think
if you're
Evan
Prescott, you go, man. You got drafted in the 5th round, man. They're giving you $415,000 to rehab. I'd go.
What about Crest, though? When was he drafted?
15th round.
Yeah, see, that's the one where I'm like, man, Crest is a guy that if he could come back, and Lord knows from the Leiter experience, who knows if pitchers ever come back from injuries anymore, and I do want to talk about that, but that with Crest, it's like, man, he feels like a guy that could be drafted higher than Vellini was.
Yeah.
I think his stuff is as good as Vellini's or better if he comes back healthy. So he could sign as a 15th round pick and rehab for, I don't know, 50 grand, 100 grand, 50 grand, let's just say 50 grand. Or he could come back next year, be pitching full speed, no limitations by like April of next year, April or May, and then he could be a 3rd round pick or a 1st round. I don't know what the kid is. But it seems like it would be worth the risk for him because he's not being thrown life-changing money to try to come back. And if the people don't remember, Evan Crest was, what would you call him, the Tuesday starter?
Yeah, midweek, whatever you want. Yeah, midweek guy.
Yeah, he was the midweek guy for Florida State and showed a lot of I thought he showed some flashes that he could be really nice. And then he got, he obviously hurt himself and is out for the year. But if he comes back fully healthy, I think his stock, he could be drafted much, much higher than the 15th round. I don't know what Gage Harrelson could do next year to be drafted higher than he was drafted. I mean, he hit 340. He was one of like the leaders of the conferences in hits. He batted leadoff for an almost Omaha team. Had his best year of his career. Doesn't have a ton of power. Didn't have a ton of power, but doesn't have a ton of power. So next year he's not going to turn into Miles Bailey. So this is who he is. So start your bus journey. Get on buses. See if you can hit 300 at these levels and keep working your way up. Maybe at worst he could be a guy that's a defensive replacement, that's a spot player sometimes, and his speed will play at that level. But go ahead and start your journey.
I know, but I'd rather start my journey like in Double-A than Montana rookie ball.
Yeah, but you say that. Tibbs isn't even in Double-A yet. Tibbs is much better than Gage Harrelson. Yeah. He's still at High A. Maybe he just got to Double-A when he was traded to the Red Sox.
I'm the guy that rarely thinks that players are going to get, like, especially football, that guys are going to make these huge jumps from one year to the next. I just feel like we don't have a lot of proof of it. Like, there haven't been a lot of DeMarcus Walkers. I feel like DeMarcus Walker's like the only thing that we go back towards where like some guy just comes kind of out of, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but makes a huge jump from one year to the next and really, improves. So I'm always hesitant to say that about football players, but like this is a really high standard. Like look what happened to Alex Lodice with one more year. So why not try to come back with this staff? And they're going to probably surround you by a bunch of talented bats. Maybe you don't have to be leadoff. Maybe you'll be in a more favorable spot in the lineup. I don't know. Just there's avenues I think to improving your game and doing so in a very hospitable environment in Tallahassee as a baseball player, pretty close to your family. But then again, I don't know. Like the only way I would leave, I'm saying this. I'll end it on this. It's all about money. Like if my family desperately needed money to hold on to our house or pay off some health. I mean, if there was something financially that was really urgently needed and I was the only one that could come through for the family, I would leave. But I just couldn't see myself like giving up a really good life, finishing up my degree, just to roll the dice when I could probably roll the dice again in another year, but I'll have an awesome memory under my belt.
I would say this about that. Like, I just don't think athletes are realists, and I think there are dreams that are accomplished. I think it would be a really, really long shot for Gage Harrelson to make the major leagues, just because they want outfielders that hit 30 home runs. They want guys that hit the ball farther and harder than he hits the ball. But that doesn't mean he couldn't make it, because Stephen Cardullo made it. Like John Nagowski made it. Like there are examples of guys reaching the major leagues. But if he is like a realist and is like, look, man, the odds of me making the major leagues are very slim. I'm a 15th round pick, so it's not like they're going to give me all the chances in the world to prove myself. I'm not a second round pick. I'm not a bonus baby. So if I struggle next year and the year after that, I might be released and never play minor league baseball again. Or I could come back for a last year at Florida State. And that's a lot of fun. I love college baseball. I love this city. I love winning a lot of games. I can see the point you're trying to make, but you're saying it from a longtime Florida State fan's point of view or a college sports fan's point of view. Gage Harrelson might not care all that much about college baseball. He might have one goal and one goal only, and that's to be a professional baseball player, and now that is there for him to start. He can start right now being a professional baseball player.
All right, I don't want to keep arguing. We've gone long enough on baseball. It's July. Everybody's like, why you got something about baseball? Cam Leiter, drafted second round, 65th overall, pick value $1.35 million American dollars. What does it mean? What does it all mean, Corey?
I think, you have to be delicate with something like this. I know people inside I don't even want to say that. We had heard stories that, and I think they even said it when he was drafted, that he was working out for scouts while the college baseball season was going on still. And we knew that. Because remember Micah Posey.
I never knew that.
But Micah Posey was talking about how good he looked, and it looked like he was trending in the right direction.
I thought those were bullpen sessions for your team. This was him showcasing himself for scouts?
I think I think so. Yeah, but the issue there is if you can throw well enough in front of scouts that you get drafted where he got drafted, and we're talking mid to upper 90s. It had been 15 months since the injury, and he'd had some problems trying to come back. It's just, and I'm not faulting anyone in the family. I'm not faulting anyone in the family. There is a risk. This is life-changing money. I don't know if it's life-changing money for the Leiters. It seems like they got a lot of dudes making life-changing money in that family. But I don't know what those relationships are like with Al and his kid that went to Vanderbilt and is now in the major leagues. I don't know what those. Yeah, I don't know if they like each other, they hang out, if there's money, if you can ask for money. I don't know any of that. But this kid had a chance to become a millionaire, technically. And maybe you do, if you do rush back and you pitch in Corvallis, or if you pitch whoever they played in the regionals, I've already forgotten.
Mississippi State.
And it doesn't go well. Or you get hurt again. Well, there was a lot of risk there. I get it. But what obviously so I get why you wouldn't do it, coming back from an injury. It's a bummer. There's a lot of people that do come back from injuries. Obviously having a talent like that, a second round arm, maybe even a first round arm that just was drafted in the second round because nobody had seen him pitch against live competition in 15 months. Having that in your bullpen, well, that's a season changer. That's a season changer, Aslan. Yeah. Imagine that first game in Corvallis, instead of our man having to go out there for that second inning.
Joe Charles. Well, what about, do we want even go back to 2023 or 24 in Omaha against Tennessee, and Connor Whitaker's on his last leg, and you get like, all right, let's bring in Cam Leiter and shut the door.
Yeah, but I'm saying, that's
a
lot closer to the actual injury.
Right.
This is when he had just thrown 95 or 97 miles an hour.
Right.
Like his arm was back. So having that, but then he also hadn't pitched in 16 months, and that's a pretty pressure-packed situation to be on the mound for the first time in 16 months. So who knows how it would have gone, all that. But my point is I get that side of it. But what we all understand as well is I get the Florida State fans that are pissed off about it too. Like, meaning we're not going to celebrate you, dude. Congratulations. But you were not one of the 11 other guys. You I guess you count, but you weren't even on the regional roster. Like you weren't even on the regional roster. Maybe he was on the Oregon State. I'm sure he was. He wasn't on the postseason roster. So it's hard for Florida State fans to see one of their guys in here that he was throwing really well late in the year, but he did not throw really well for your team when your team needed him. So it's hard to celebrate that person being drafted. When he gets his call, if and when he gets called up to the major leagues, I don't think it's going to resonate as much as when James Tibbs gets called up to the major leagues. Or, sorry, Jamie Arnold gets called up to the major leagues. That guy went out there for 3 years and put it all on the line for the university, for the program, for the Garnet and the Gold. So absolutely he deserves more fanfare and more recognition and more celebration than a guy that started 7 times for you in 2 years and did not pitch at all at the end of the season when he was physically capable to pitch. I think. Well, from what I've heard, he was physically capable to pitch, but I also understand the other side. I'm not sitting a fence. I am a baseball dad, not of nobody close to that caliber, but I do understand the side of, we got to take it easy, man. This is your career. Your career is more important than this one college baseball season. I completely understand that, but that family, and I'm sure they do, has to understand that okay, well then you're never going to have like a warm spot in Florida State fans' hearts, even if you do make it to the major leagues, because you didn't really do much for 2 years. So anyway, just thought it's interesting. There hadn't been a lot of cases like this. Like second round pick is unique, man. Yeah. That's a really big deal to be a second round. Was he a second? Yeah, he was right after Lodis. Isn't that crazy? He was like 2 picks after Lodis.
What about is there any parallel between this and Antonio Cromartie?
Except Cromartie did give you 2 years.
Yeah.
And
I don't think he held out. I don't think Cromartie couldn't go. I think he was hurt to the degree where he could not play.
He tore his ACL. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, no, it would be like if he...
And Derwin? I guess Derwin, they could have... Unless I agreed with it. There was the 2 options for the meniscus was either, like, shave it off, he'll be ready in 2 weeks, or sew it and repair it, and you shut him down. And that was when they had the whole... a season with behind the sscenes, and I think they kind of you heard like Jimbo pretty much be like, man, like I've got to look in his best interest, So I mean, they did the right thing with Derwin. Like I do not resent Derwin. I was just like, man, we should have had more. We should have got more out of Derwin, but it wasn't his fault. I agree with that.
And then he did come back his last year. Wasn't he on the? Yeah, he was on the 17 team, so he did play after that another year for Florida State.
Heisman contender, preseason Heisman favorite, Derwin James.
This is a unique story just to have a kid that's drafted that high in college baseball. I don't know what he was. I'm assuming he was one of the top 40 college baseball players picked.
He was 65th overall. He was ranked the 114th prospect.
But 65th overall. But I'm going to guess at least 20 of the first 65 are close to it were high school kids. So you're talking about a guy that was drafted as like the 43rd to 45th college player in the entire country that was drafted. And he played not a single game for you. And, it would be – imagine if he's pitching in 2 weeks in like the South Atlantic League.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be, but it is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. It's just a ship passing in the night. we never really got to experience or appreciate or celebrate Cam Leiter because he did get hurt, unfortunately, and then he never came back and pitched again. So it's a bummer. It is what it is. Would have liked to seen him in the ninth inning in Corvallis.
Yeah, that's right. All right, that's a wrap for us. Wow. Every time I say beforehand, let's make it a quick show, it's never a quick show.
Buddy, you went on with the Scottie Scheffler stuff out of nowhere.
I get blamed for that one, huh?
You brought it up. That's crazy.
We did 30.
It's a hard one to wrap up in like 10 seconds.
Well, we just did 24 minutes on the MLB draft.
Well, that's what we do, man. That's what we do.
All right, we're going to do another show, mailbag, all your questions, so no excuses about what we talk about. We're taking it from our subscribers at warchant.com, their questions, and we'll also see who's doing the best job of generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Hop in the mailbag, get involved. He's Corey, I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 4 o'clock, ?